Hello, everybody. Velkommen Abenteuer Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Magnus Archives tonight. I am super excited. I have had a day. I am stressed out, and we're going to see how dangerous Magnus Archives can get. But before we do, of course, I have to do my obligatory awkward banter. We were talking about cheese curds earlier. How does everyone feel about them? Are we pro or
pro?
con
Definitely
cheese curds?
pro.
Well, you're Canadian, so that kind of tracks.
Con cheese curds. That's not liking a puppy. That's fucking weird.
I'm not sure I've ever had a cheese curd.
Curds.
Okay, well, everybody knows that you're like not a nice person, Stephen.
Cheese curds are disgusting. So are puppies, though. The difference between the two is that
I do hate puppies. That is on the record.
Cheese curds are disgusting, though.
For me, cheese curds, I'll eat them if they're fried. But in that case, they're basically like a mini mozzarella stick anyway. So what's the point, right?
Long, have you had cheese curds?
Yeah, I think I've only had it from Culver's, so I haven't had proper cheese curds.
My brother is obsessed with Culver's cheese curds. He gets them, I think, at least once a week. And I don't get it. But
clearly,
anyone know if they have cheese curds in Germany? I have no idea.
I would think so.
It's a big place. They probably have lots of culinary options.
Perhaps
I meant, do they enjoy them there?
A cheese curd. Perhaps it is called something different.
Yeah, I
I'm sure they
poutine,
call
right?
it something in German.
It is called Dost cheese curd. Might I have eine cheese curd?
All right, I'm going to stop making us ramble about cheese curds, and let's just dive into our recap then. So last session, our researchers arrived at the Donauer farm, where Zander was overcome with a bit of deja vu as he relived the dream of slaughtering cows with an axe on the farm. Emily, Naveen, and Frieda began searching inside, finding that aside from the recent stay of Timo, the residence appeared to have been abandoned for years. They found a pile of books near the front door, including a book on Greek mathematics and an old Bible. The Bible had a handwritten note on it that read, "Bury me with the one thing I must retain." In the master bedroom, they found what remained of Timo, and goop might be the best description for his remains. His statement said that he felt like he was being liquefied, and the evidence very much seemed to corroborate. Meanwhile, Lucian deciphered a complex equation that was etched around the entire perimeter of the house, and it could only be balanced by removing a physical constant symbolized by the Greek letter Omicron. After solving that equation, Zander and Lucian then searched the cellar, finding old paperwork, including Hans Donauer's will that detailed exactly where he wished to be buried on the farm. Leaving the cellar, the duo grabbed a shovel to go dig up Hans and stopped along the way to investigate a couple dead cows in the field. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because Jeff is talking about cheese curds in the in the DMs again.
To let you know what the German word for cheese curd was. Käsebruch.
Hasebruch.
Why do you hurt me?
I'm in the middle of a recap, Jeff. I can't get distracted by DMs right now.
You are the one who brought back cheese curds to the conversation. This is your doing.
Oh, no, it is. Okay. So the cows that were dead in the field appeared to be mutilated, but in such a way that there was no standard sign of trauma. Their ribs seemed to be naturally growing out of their skin before braiding together. Organs wove in and out of the flesh with intestines, giving the appearance of macabre stitches along the body. And then it turned out that the cows were actually alive, incapable of moving in their current state, braying in pain, and Lucian used his pistol to put both of them down. They then found a trail of strange footsteps that circled around the cows before leading away. The sound of the gunshots led to the researchers regrouping, and all five of them decided to follow the trail of steps, leading several kilometers away to a tiny shack on a river. Hundreds of bone ornaments hung from the ceiling of the shack at various heights, creating an eerie rattle as Naveen moved inside to investigate. She quickly found loose floorboards hiding an underground tunnel leading into darkness. And that is where we left off with Naveen. You're peering into the shadow, into this darkness, into this void. You see that there are wooden planks that are hammered into the earth that create a makeshift ladder on the way down. What do you do?
I'm gonna point it out to everybody else, but I will also say, I think we should go down there, but should we double back and check his grave to see, the thing he needed to be buried with before we do? Because
We
like,
should
who knows
definitely
what's
get-
down there?
We should definitely get to the grave, but we're here, so maybe
Yeah,
we.
but who knows what's down there? But the grave,
That's-
at least, like, you know what you're dealing with. So should we do that first?
This is fun. It's fun to discover things that you don't know what's
Yeah,
going to be
no,
there.
I'm fine either way. I think both will be a good idea. So
Emily remembers that she is in charge of this investigation and says, I considered the options, and I think since we're here, we should go down. And if that ends up being a bad idea, I will correct procedure.
no, we'll
For next
fix
time.
that. We'll cross the bridge when we get to it. Don't worry about that,
People-
Emily. It's fine. And hearing Emily be on board with it, Naveen is gonna try and open whatever the doorway or like trapdoor or whatever it is.
Yeah, so you've already got these floorboards. They were matched up into the other floorboards pretty well, but you could tell that they weren't hammered in, and they were easily pried up as if they come up and down quite often. You already opened the entire tunnel, essentially, so all that's left is to climb down.
Amazing. So I'll start doing that, assuming that there's nothing to worry about. I will just blithely head down.
All right, Naveen, you are going down first. Emily, you were also in the shack, so I assume that you'd be going down after her?
I would ensure that everyone else is aware. So people that were still outside, there is a secret tunnel inside, and we're all going to go down there. So this first, and then we'll go to the
Nice.
grave after.
We'll be behind you.
Excellent.
All right, so Emily, you are in there. Frieda, Lucian, and Zander. The three of you were still outside of the shack, and if you remember, it has all these ornaments that are hanging down from the ceiling. These like pieces of bone art that kind of rattle as you move through. Are the three of you entering to look down this tunnel as well?
Yeah, I'll try and bring in a flashlight, get some light in there.
Frieda and
Yeah.
Lucian?
Yeah.
Okay. Zander, I'm going to pick on you a bit then. You will say that it's early afternoon right now, so you probably didn't have your flashlight handy. So we'll say that you go digging through your pockets or through a backpack as Lucian and Frieda walk into this room. And that's when you see across the river, it's really more like a creek than anything, right next to this shack. You see movement in one of the fields. It looks like it's walking bipedally. It's a good distance away. It really is just like a brown mass that seems to be lumbering one direction. It looks like north.
There's something there. I'll look
As-
into it.
You call that out and you look towards the shack to tell them that you see something. And that's when you realize that looking in the shack, you still see the exterior of the shack. You don't see the art, the bone art inside. In fact, there's actually, where it was very dark inside, now there's a lot of light coming out of the shack. And you see it goes a long distance. There's so much more depth to this. The shack before was like 2 meters wide. Now it's just, it's several, probably about 100 meters long. And you see that it's like an aisle. You see that there are pews on either side of this doorway. It looks like St. Catherine's Church, the church that is above the Institute. As you look down this aisle, you see that there is like white flower garlands decorating each of the pews as if it's like set up for a wedding. You see that there is a table with a white tablecloth in front of the altar, and on it is this tiered cake, this white cake decorated with little drops of red. What are you doing?
I am at work. Hello? Grab my eyes. Kind of feel the pews of the church.
You rub your eyes. You look around. You're still surrounded by farmland. You still see the creek. You still see the shack. You look inside the doors of the shack and you see the church. You remember that there was movement over, and you look for where it was, and you can't track it anymore.
And I'll walk towards that cake that you described.
You walk in, and immediately you hear the sounds echoing of your footsteps on stone. You don't go inside the main hall of this church very often. Normally you go through a side door that takes you into the basement for the Institute, but you have been in here before. And it very much is familiar. Every single crack in the plaster, every single piece of wood grain in the pews looks familiar to you. This is St. Catherine's Church. As you continue walking, you get closer to the altar. There's no one around, no noise whatsoever except for your footsteps. And then you see this cake. It's beautifully decorated. It's got 3 tiers, this white icing, but you realize that these red speckles that were decorating it, it looks more like arterial splatter of blood in the way that it's just splashed on. There are 2 small splashes on the top 2 tiers, and then 1 long splash that goes across the bottom 2 tiers in an arc. And right in the middle, almost like the carrot nose of a snowman, is this long cake knife that's sticking out. Give me a intellect defense roll, difficulty 5.
Okay. That's going to go pretty terribly with my intellect inability.
You do have an
Oh.
inability for defense, don't you?
Mhm.
Remember, you can spend effort if you want to try and negate that. It would cost 3 points of intellect.
Right. Yeah, I still have points, so might as well. I'll spend the 3
All right.
to make it
Let her rip.
4. Or is it 5, actually? Just a straight 5.
Yeah, difficulty 5. So you're
Okay.
looking for not
I
quite
rolled
there.
an 8.
All right. As you are headed towards this knife, you hear a voice. You're probably a couple feet away, and like I said, there was no movement, no sound whatsoever in this church. You hear this voice, and it's right just behind your ear. It's this feminine purr. Everything's gonna be all right, hon. Just don't let go of that knife. Everything will be fantastic and wonderful. Oh, and don't tell anyone about me. Just make like you found something useful and want to keep it. It'll all be grand. Like candy and cake, you get me? And when you hear that, how do you respond?
If you say so. I'll grab onto the knife.
And that's, you reach up to go grab for the knife, and at this point you realize it's already in your hand. There is chunks of icing that are still caked onto this knife, but there's also blood. And you look at the cake where you pulled it out, and there's just a stream of blood dripping down as if the cake itself is bleeding. You realize that blood on the knife is dripping down onto your hand. We're going to pause there for a second. And Lucian and Frieda, you were the last 2 to go into the shack. Naveen has already gone down. Emily went down after her. Which one of you went in second to last, let's say? Either way.
Probably Frieda.
Okay. So Lucian, you went in and you head towards the tunnel. It's just 2 steps into the shack, essentially, and you're already right at the mouth of it. Frieda, you're right behind him. And Lucian, as you turn to go down this ladder, that's when you look right at Frieda and you see that there's Zander behind her holding a knife, a very long, sharp-ended cake knife.
Does it look like he is about to harm my sister?
Not necessarily harm, but he's definitely dazed and out of it. And you haven't seen this knife before. It's very strange that he just pulled it out now.
Lutzin will say, Zander, what is it you are doing with that knife? Frieda, step away from Zander.
Okay. And Frieda will move closer towards Lucian.
Do I hear her?
We've got all of these dangling things, so I imagine she's just trying to like push through them.
You are still out of it, Zander, so you don't actually hear anything here.
Then I stand there dazed.
Lutzin will sort of step forward towards Zander, and he will move his hand over Zander's face to see if there is any sort of reaction in his eyes.
The movement doesn't seem to track. His eyes don't seem to follow whatsoever. They're just staring ahead.
Lutzin will then very carefully reach out and touch Zander's wrist that is holding the knife.
And Zander, that you do feel the light touch on your wrist, and it just brings you back. You realize exactly where you are. You're no longer in the church. You're in the shack, but the knife is in your hand somehow.
The touch of my wrist makes me jolt back, hold the knife towards me. Lucian, where are we?
We are in the shack. I'm going to take this knife from you.
No. You will not. This is mine.
You are brandishing it in a manner that was threatening towards my sister. If you do not want to get written up with our superiors, I suggest that you get rid of the knife right now. If you'd rather give it to Frieda, that is fine.
Where'd you get this knife, Zander?
I've always had it. We exploring the dark. I thought it would be good to have.
And like, how large is the knife? Does it make sense that it would be something he kept on his person?
So it is a cake knife. So it's not like a butcher knife or anything like that. It's very long, very thin, but it does have a sharp pointed end.
Not a thing you keep in your pocket.
Exactly. Like it's not something that you can easily hide.
Planning to offer us a slice of cake or something? This is not something you have carried with you. I believe you are not telling truthful tales.
Is a new find, maybe, on the farm? I've been carrying it.
I have been with you the entire time you have been on the farm. You have not found it. Where were you? You were in a daze. You were unresponsive.
I've been here, no?
What is very curious is you stepped in here before Frieda and I, yes? And then suddenly you were behind Frieda with a knife.
I had no intention. I was simply carrying it.
Okay.
Down in the tunnel, Emily's going to kind of, are you all coming?
So that's a good point, Emily. Naveen, you made it to the bottom of the tunnel. It's pitch black down here, but it is essentially just a very small chamber that doesn't have much going on. It's wet, likely water seeping in from the river. There is you essentially have to like crouch down to be able to move about. It's about 4 foot by 4 foot wide, and you see that it leads to a tunnel that goes deeper into the earth, but it's no longer like climbing down. You can walk through. And there's only room for the two of you to stand right next to each other. And you're probably about 15 feet underground right now. So you'd be able to easily call up, and you would all easily hear Emily.
Is there room for us down there? How large is it?
And Emily will give a response in meters that Melissa wouldn't know. But we were expecting a bit of a tunnel, and this is a bit more of a hole.
Is it like a root cellar or something?
It's very roughly dug out. It doesn't look as if it was really like professionally done. And now there's just essentially another hole that leads into darkness.
I do a flashlight, so I'm gonna just kind of look down that other hole to see if I can see anything.
It looks like it turns a little bit, so you can see a good ways down. It's very rough, just like where you are now, but it goes a little bit deeper into the earth, and then it curves to the right.
Is there any indication for what this room may have been used for?
It's not really much of a room as much as it is a chamber that just leads to another tunnel.
Okay. So I'll sort of opine that to Emily and say, I'm gonna go check out what's down there.
Yes, and she digs in her bag and gets her flashlight out of her survival kit as well. Frieda, Lucy, and Zander, I do not believe that we have room for everyone, but there is a bit of a there is a dark area tunnel, perhaps, and so maybe if Naveen goes in there, maybe someone else can come down. But I don't think we can all fit.
And if you do start going single file into that tunnel, there would be enough room for you to all walk in a line. But just right here in front of the ladder, there's only room for about two.
It's a little crowded. We'll go slowly. Naveen is bravely taking the lead, and we can follow from there.
Bravely is a nice way to say stupidly, but yes.
Then we go up to the top where Lucian, you're still looking at Zander. Zander's still holding a knife. Emily's talking about Naveen going forward and her following. What are you two doing? What are you three doing?
There's no problem here, right? We shall follow.
What is it you were doing? You were standing here and you were unresponsive. You did not say anything. Your eyes did not respond to my movement. What happened, Zander?
Oh, I was at the church. It felt like moments.
The church.
Just a vision.
That vision was of our church? Curious.
Right.
Would we know of your dream? Would you have told us about your dream about this location already, or no?
Yeah, I spoke about the deja vu I felt coming in, so you would have heard about it in the car.
Okay. Maybe it is more deja vu. And Frieda at that point will just kind of like, but she'll look at Lucian and Zander in concern, but like, we're here for work, so she's gonna start crawling down once Naveen moves forward.
Which she is doing as soon as Emily made that statement.
About you, Lucian. Are you willing to drop this or no?
Zander, I feel it would be better if you were to at least put the knife away until we are certain you do not have any more visions, which might result in you popping up behind my sister with a knife. Perhaps
Lucian.
next time it would be a different weapon.
Give me an intellect defense roll. Difficulty 5, but I'm going to give you an asset here because in session 0 we figured out that you don't like Zander, so it's going to be difficulty 4 plus whatever else you can provide with the defense.
I see. Curious. I'm trying to remember. Can skills be used in this to try to ease the task?
I believe so. Yes.
So I have things like perception, occultism. If it's something occult or
I would give you
those sorts of
occultism, not
things.
perception.
Understood. That puts me at 3. Equipment. I don't think that my equipment my ciphers would help me. So I am at 3. I will spend 2 intellect since I have an edge to reduce that to 2. And I will roll, but no doubt I will also roll a 2, for that is all that I ever roll in this game.
Let her rip. Let's see it. Oh, look at that.
14.
Nice.
40.
Lucian, you also hear a voice. This soft voice purring just right behind your ear, but you know it's not Frieda. You know it's not Emily or Naveen. And it says, actually, that knife could come in quite handy. No wonder he wants to keep it. You should probably smile, nod, and compliment his preparation. But because you passed the roll, you understand that like you're able to fight off the inclination. Every fiber of your being wants to give into that. It feels comforted by that thought, but you're able to maintain control.
Did you hear a voice, Zander, just now?
No, only us.
Did a voice speak to you at all in here?
No, there was no such voice.
Why are you lying to me?
I am not lying.
Since you will not put the knife away, it is only right for me to have a bit of protection myself. Now, after you, Zander, I believe Naveen and Emily are waiting.
I'll be right behind them. And I'll crawl. No.
Do you put the knife down as you crawl?
Crawl with clenched fist.
All right. So Frieda, you already went down this ladder, down the plank. Zander, you have the knife clenched in your fist, and you go down, being careful not to poke yourself with it. And you go. It's a little bit rougher for you, but it's not like it's a major acrobatics feat. So you're able to get down the 4 or 5 meters that it takes to hit that dirt chamber. A couple people have already moved into this tunnel. Naveen is no longer in sight whatsoever. Lucian, are you like watching him go all the way down? How do you want to go about this?
I will wait until he is not within melee striking distance, and then I will follow.
Protect your Achilles. All right. Naveen, let's move on to you. You have gone down this tunnel and you've gone down a curve. Describe how you're going about this. You have to be crouched. You have a flashlight.
I think Naveen's approach is speed rather than stealth. So she's doing whatever she can to move forward as fast as she can. She's not really worried about making noise or anything. She's fairly convinced there's nothing here to disturb, except for maybe like critters and stuff that might like run away when they hear her. But so she's not thinking there's anything to be worried about, and it's just kind of moving forward.
And there's probably not anything to be worried about. But while we're talking about it, go ahead and give me a speed defense roll, difficulty 3.
Oh yeah, I kind of figured something
For
like
no
that was
reason.
coming. I think I'm actually. Oh no, I have an inability on might. I thought it was speed, but it's might. What difficulty did you say, Stephen?
3. So you're looking for a 9 or better.
Okay. Sorry, my computer is being a little funny. Just give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Emily, while she's doing that, how close were you following her behind? Were you making sure that Frieda was going around the tunnel first? coming down
Yes,
the
I
tunnel?
would say. Yeah, she would probably have sent Frieda in second after Naveen, and then made sure that Lucian and Zander were on their way down.
So then both of you
I
probably
failed.
lost sight of Naveen as she went around the corner. You rolled a 4. That is
Yeah.
not quite enough.
Ooh.
No.
Naveen, your foot catches on something. At first, you think it might be a rock. You look down and you see that there's like a wire that broke. And then you hear a rumbling above. And it just dawns on you too late that this was a deadfall. And rocks begin tumbling down on you. You are actually taking a severe injury. So this is actually our first severe injury of the campaign that moves you up the damage
hooray!
track.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool.
So with the damage track, the way Magnus works is that there are 4 types of damage, or 3 or 4, depending on your abilities. So you are moving to the first one, where I believe it's called Injured, which doesn't have too much trouble, but if you continue taking damage, you're going to have debuffs for doing this.
So when I'm in my combat thing, I go from healed to impaired to debilitated.
All
I'm
right, so you would be
assuming that's not what you mean.
No, that is what I mean. You are impaired right now.
Impaired. Okay, I'm sorry. I was
So
looking for
some
the
people have an
other
extra
word you
step,
were
which is
saying.
hurt. So that's
Okay.
what I was forgetting. So impaired, when an impaired character applies effort, it costs 1 extra point. So if you want to use effort, it's going to cost you a little bit more.
Yeah.
You also ignore minor and major effects on your roll.
efforts
Yeah.
on rolls, which is 19s and 20s. Is
Yes,
that
correct.
right? Okay. And combat roll of 70/20 deals only +1 damage. Oh, okay. All right, sweet. Thank you.
All right. So Naveen, do you yell out when these rocks start
I
tumbling?
think so. I
All right,
think
so
so. She yells,
everyone can
and
hear-
then she'll yell at for. I'm like, dude, there's rocks that fell. Just be careful, okay? Be careful.
Everyone hears the rumble of the rocks, and it echoes through. A cloud of dust like pushes out through that tunnel. Frieda, you were first in this line, so it hits you, and then it goes back to Emily. Everyone hears the rumbling, but then it quickly dies down. And you do hear Naveen call out that she's still alive, at least.
Yeah.
How do you all respond to this?
And Frieda is carefully making her way towards Naveen to help assist, like, get her out of this, while also carefully, like, making sure to watch out for her, because she doesn't know what started this. So I presume Frieda might think that this is more of just like an unstable tunnel, and so she's looking for signs of that as she's approaching Naveen to make sure that we don't do something like that again.
And you reach her fine. You get around the curve, and that's where the cloud is the thickest. You're kind of like coughing and choking as you're breathing, because there's no airflow to really settle this dust. It just stays contained and swirling. But it does appear that Naveen is more or less intact.
Okay. Okay, let me help you stand up, okay?
Okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I just came down here to look to see if there was anything down the hall. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Frieda, is Naveen okay?
Yeah, we're fine. She's fine.
Okay.
Just be very careful, please.
I'm fine.
Lucian, Zander, be very careful as we go. Keep your eyes open.
And if Emily had Frieda go before her down the tunnel before Zander came down, she would have warned Emily that Zander had this knife now, and he kind
what
of was
specifically
dazed.
would you have said?
She just would have said Zander was dazed and now he has a knife, and just
he has an extra weapon.
Yes, I don't know. Just be aware. He kind of, he had the deja vu. And like that's kind of how Frieda's interpreting it.
So I would say Emily, as she's going in, she's kind of 180ing as she goes. She's, kind of looking to watch Frieda's back and then turning around to see whether Lucian or Zander is right behind her and kind of keeping an eye in both directions.
And at this point, with the rocks falling, Naveen stopping, Frieda and you all catching up, like you're kind of starting to mash together a little bit. So you can turn around. You can easily see Zander with his knife. I doubt he's holding it like this, but you do still have it in your hand, right, Zander?
Yeah, just down the side.
And Emily, if you like look past him at Lucian, you'd probably see that he's holding a pistol as well.
Zander, Lucian, you are bearing arms.
We don't know what's down here. The rocks, is Naveen okay?
Frieda said that she is fine. You are okay?
We are well.
Lucian? You are okay?
A presence spoke to me inside of the shack. We are not alone here.
Okay. Very good to know. And she pulls out her notebook and she's scribbling. What kind of voices did you hear?
It was a woman's voice. It wanted me to take Zander's knife, I believe.
Did a woman give you this knife, Zander?
No, there was no woman that gave me that knife.
Oh, this is concerning. This is very concerning. Frieda, Naveen, if you hear any voices, please let us know right away.
Frieda and Naveen, are you two switching places in who's going first after this? You're next to these rocks. They didn't like block the tunnel or anything, but there is a little bit of dust. You got your flashlight. It really just makes it harder to see because there's so much dust right here that's illuminated by your flashlight. But once you get past that, you can see a little bit further down the tunnel again. Naveen, are you okay with Frieda taking first after that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she will ask for that help specifically as well, and say like, "Hey, I told him I was gonna check this out, but I think I twisted something. Do you mind?"
No, of course.
So you kind of like shimmy past each other. It's close, but it's not so tight that you can't change positions like that. Frieda, you said you've got a flashlight too. And as you get out of this cloud of dust, that's when you see that you're actually at the opening of another chamber. It wasn't too much further down this tunnel. You see that this chamber is drier, but it still has that same heavy earthen smell, like it's entirely dug out of dirt and rocks here and there. It contains a cot and a variety of personal items, such as like packages of snacks and sweets, a ton of liquor bottles. Most of them seem to be empty. And there is a battery-powered lantern, but it's not on right now. And then books just lie scattered everywhere on the floor, on the cot and in piles here and there. As you are taking this in, give me an intellect defense roll, difficulty 5. I'm sorry, speed defense roll, difficulty 5.
Speed, okay. Would you say that my perception would assist me with my speed defense roll?
Perception absolutely assists you on this, yes.
Okay, and I am specialized in perception.
Specialized or trained?
I am
specialized means you get 2. All right,
yeah.
So that lowers it down to difficulty 3.
And then would you say that tracking would assist me with a speed defense roll?
I don't think tracking would assist you.
Okay, valid. Okay, but I'm shooting for 3.
Yes. So 9 or better.
Fuck.
There you go.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I saw it beats difficulty 3 and I read that as I rolled a 3.
Frieda, you've got your flashlight and you're peering around this into this chamber, and at the very last second your eyes spot movement as a metal butcher's cleaver slices through the air. It doesn't look like it arced, like it was actually like going towards you, but it was moving towards you, and it almost looked like it was going to like wrap around you, like whoever was holding it. And then you hear invaders as an old man steps in front of this opening. You see, he's mostly forehead. He's got wisps of hair running back. He's got bushy white eyebrows, but everything else is just covered in dirt. He's just filthy from head to toe. He's wearing this nightgown that just drapes all the way down to his legs. He's holding a cleaver. You see that he's got black spittle that's like dripping down his mouth. Get out of my home. And he's holding this butcher's cleaver, and he's like swinging it about, not actually like slashing at you, but definitely waving it threateningly.
Sir, please. And as she's saying this, she's like pushing Naveen back to get, like, you know, to signify like, hey, we need to get out of here. And
everyone can hear this, by the way. It's just echoing down this tunnel. You're all just a couple meters away from each other. Yes, out now.
Oh, okay, sir, please stop. And Frieda is, you know, backing up along with Naveen.
But the problem is there's a group of people behind you, as well as a pile of rocks. So you can really only go a little bit further. Emily, Zander, Lucian, how are you responding to this? Are you backing up too?
No, we can't go back. And I'll step out.
All right, so you're going to try and step forward. You're going to push past Emily, Naveen, and Frieda?
Yeah, I'll pass.
All right. You see this old man. How dare you? Whose bidding do you perform?
Only our own. Who are you to the...
I was not born yesterday. Who do you work for?
You with the dollars.
What? This is my home. This is my sanctum. I will ask the questions here. You will give the answers, or you will leave. Who do you work for?
We work for the archives. We're here because of Hans Dornauer.
The thief. The thief. He's stolen my book.
So you're not one of the Dornauers?
No.
Who are you?
I am a man in his home that has been invaded. And he starts swinging the knife around wildly again.
I'll avoid his swipes as best as possible.
Are you Zachariah Easton?
Knife kind of goes down a little bit.
It was recorded that Hans had a book that you had to, and she'll recount. I think he had to like turn it in for something, and then Hans was able to purchase it before Zachariah could get the money to buy it back or something.
Zachariah is dead. I am Omicron.
Okay.
I'll see if I can step closer to him to get him to put down the knife.
Yeah, so this technically counts as an attack in Cypher system. Anything you do that they don't want to have happen counts as an attack. I think speed makes sense here. And this would be difficulty 4. Unless you're trying to persuade him. If you're trying to actually take the knife, it'll be speed.
Yeah, I'll do a speed test here. Trying to see if I have any abilities. Would athletics, or not athletics, gymnastics help at all?
You don't have athletics?
Do I have athletics? No, I don't.
We'll count gymnastics. I let Lucian do backflips in the backyard in the last statement. Yeah, we could say gymnastics will work.
Okay.
Now.
Then I'll spend 2 points because I have an edge of 1.
Okay. So that brings it down to difficulty 2.
I think I rolled it. Maybe it's lagging.
There we go. You
Roll 9.
got a 9, beats 3. So what does this look like? How are you getting the knife out of his hands? Whatever happens is so quick that he just doesn't have the time to react.
While he's answering the question, doing a quick double step into where he's swinging, grabbing him by the wrist, swinging the knife out of his hand.
You grab and you just slap down on the dull end of the cleaver, and you hit it hard enough that the force just throws it out of his hand, and it clanks onto the dirt and like the rock floor. He pulls back. How dare you invade my home while you lay hands on me? Who do you work for? Why would you?
Did you kill Timo?
Her. She killed Timo. Your mistress killed Timo.
Who? He's melted. Omicron this is an Ashley question, not in game, is the sequence in the math equation that Lucian discovered, correct?
Yeah, Omicron was if you remove Omicron, it adds to 0, I think.
Yeah, it was the thing we removed in the equation to make it balance.
So we need to remove Omicron?
And when you say that, I still have my hand on his wrist, and I pull my knife out and lunge towards him.
And Frieda shouts but doesn't stop him.
This will be a might attack roll. Again, difficulty 4.
Spend 2 effort.
Spending
because I
2?
have 1 edge. Yeah.
Okay. So you need to beat difficulty 3.
17.
17.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Describe what you're doing.
Yeah, I've got his wrist in my hand. I've got the knife clenched in my other hand. Just lunge it toward his stomach.
All right. You already had a knife. What was the damage on that?
Oh, did I?
Yeah, that was part of your equipment anyways. Hold on. Let me look.
The cheap knife in the survival kit?
It's a light weapon, so that's 2 points is what we're doing here. This is actually longer, though. I'm going to count it as a medium weapon. So you're going to do 4 points of damage as you are able to stab into him and kind of slice. You see blood just start pouring out into this nightgown. This filthy nightgown just begins turning red and red and red. Let's go ahead and have speed tests from everyone else. Zander, you basically got ambush here. So the rest of you, we're going into initiative here.
Ooh.
All right. It doesn't look like anyone actually. He's difficulty 4. So he is going to go next, and then you all will be able to go in any order. In this black spittle that was dripping out of his mouth, he begins coughing and hacking and wheezing, and the spittle starts coming out in chunks, and then there's just you see like his throat kind of like bulge out a little bit, and then he's coughing and then spits out this massive spray of gunk, this black gunk, and everyone in the immediate area. So I'm going to say that this is going to be Frieda, Naveen, and Zander. You were the 3 closest. All 3 of you need to give me speed defense rolls here. And it's difficulty 4.
Don't get it on you. Don't get it on you.
For funsies, I'm going to spend a Cypher. I have personal space. The effect is flinching isn't always bad. For the next day, I have an asset to my speed defense rolls.
So that means you need difficulty 3, Frieda.
Cool.
Naveen, you rolled a 5. That is a failure.
Riz.
Frieda, you pass. Zander, how did you do?
Is it okay if I ease it with gymnastics?
Yeah, we'll give you gymnastics here.
Roll 12.
All right. So Naveen, you are the only one to fail here. But even the two of you who succeeded, you both take 1 stress as there's just gunk that flies everywhere. And in this black bile, as it hits you, you're only getting flecks of it here and there, but it begins like burning. And it's just like little cigarette burns that start wherever it hits your skin. Naveen, you are taking the brunt of this. Just with how the trajectory hit, there's giant fist-sized globule that just hits you right in the chest, and it begins burning through your clothing and onto the flesh underneath. You are taking 3 stress from this.
I am already at 2 of 4.
So that's defense. Stress is a little different. So
no,
3
I'm at 2 of 4 stress.
Oh, okay. So you're going up. You're saying that you already have like 6 stress, then, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah. This will push me up to 6.
Because stress
5,
is divided by 3 for
is-
your stress levels.
Okay,
So if you only have 2
6
stress, then you're doing fine. The 4 shouldn't matter for stress there.
Oh, okay. In
yeah, it's
that
looking
case,
like you
then
had-
I'm sorry. I only have 1 stress, not 2. But what did you just say I took?
You're taking 3 stress.
Which is 1 more point of stress.
No, 3 stress is 3 stress, but then the levels. So no matter what with your stress, you want to keep track of all the points you have.
Okay.
So started with 2, got 3, would have 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
likely in the last session, you took about 2 points of stress from
That's
Santino's
right.
body. So you should be around 5, right?
That's exactly right. Thank you.
And because you're at 1 level of stress, like the 5 divided by 3, you get 1.2 or whatever, or 1.6. That means that you have a little bit more difficulty on your stress. The tasks are hindered by 1. I believe that's how it works.
Okay.
Okay. So that is his turn. Anyone else can go in any order here.
I think Emily would want to pull Zander off of this guy, like just for him to just come in and stab him. Like, this feels like we shouldn't be murdering this person. We should probably not. So I think that would be Emily's instinct here, is to try to pull Zander off of this guy.
And I won't resist.
Okay. So if he's not resisting, then you don't even need to make a roll. That'll be your action. You just come in. Go ahead and describe it.
I think she's just sort of, obviously he was there and, but he was just sort of wildly waving his knife. Like, he didn't really look that particularly dangerous necessarily. Like, he was concerning, but this wasn't sort of a life-threatening situation. So Emily's just, Zander, we don't need to kill the poor man. And so she's going to, kind of come up behind and kind of try to pull him by the waist and kind of pull him off in a way.
And I go back with
Zander.
you, just knife in hand, seeing the fresh coat of blood on it, just staring at it.
You get him away and you like back up towards the cot. This man is still very irate and still very aggressive though. So Lucian, Naveen, or Frieda, either of you can go. Any of you can go.
I have duct tape, so my thought is if someone would assist me with like getting him disarmed, I could duct tape him, and we could escort him out of this hidey hole situation.
I can absolutely assist with that. I think it might be better if I actually gave you like a bonus from my help or encouragement.
Yeah, so Naveen, since you help your friends, you can
Yeah.
decide to take your action here to assist Frieda, which means Frieda, you would be rolling right now. It's going to be a might roll, difficulty 4, eased by 1 because of Naveen's help, and if you fail, you can re-roll because of Naveen's help.
Actually, I was wondering if I might, instead of friendly help, use encourage, which is through inspiring oration, your allies gain an easement on a task. So I'm wondering if I can use that to ease it one level further.
So helping eases them. I believe the way encourage works is that it's everyone. So it's kind of area effect with encourage. Whereas if you're using friendly help, either way, she's going to get an ease. The difference is you'll be giving an ease to Lucy and Zander and Emily on their next turns if you use encourage.
Which I would love to do if.
Okay.
If,
What are you
I-
saying to encourage her?
To Frieda, you know, I used to think that like the smartest people just like never doubted themselves, but like then I met you and you like are easily one of the most brilliant people I know, and like you double and triple check all your work, like you're not already 5 steps ahead. And so whatever you have in mind, it's gonna like absolutely work, and I am so here to help you.
Naveen is yelling this as this old man is screaming bloody murder, as he is bleeding out and flailing, as he is coughing and spitting and yelling. Frieda, you hear this. Naveen, that costs you 1 intellect point to use. And Frieda, you can go ahead and take your turn then to give me a might difficulty 4 eased by 1 because of Naveen's help.
Okay, so we're going for a 3. Fuck. 4.
Oh man.
I
Man.
can't
Frieda-
reroll.
Jeez.
The reroll would have been
with
nice
the
there,
low
yeah.
roll.
So you take out the
Sorry,
duct tape
man.
and we hear the as you rip the duct tape up and you lunge towards this old man, but he is a lot faster than he looks. And now that he's aware that we are in a fight, he just very spryly dodges out of the way as you rush towards him, and he just uses one arm to just shove you out of the way into the opening that was created by Zander being pushed away. That leaves Lucian. What are you doing?
Is he coming towards me? Is
He
he
has
pushed
already
through?
taken his turn, so he's still in the middle of this chamber. Right now, he's just shoving Frieda away from him.
Whatever you do is eased because you heard Ashvin yell encouragement at Frieda.
Lucian will raise his gun, his pistol. And he will say to the man, "You need to comport yourself. Sit, or I shall make you sit."
All right, so let's go D&D 3rd edition with stacking bonuses and disadvantages or whatever here. We're going to say that it would be standard difficulty 4, but it's eased by Naveen. It's eased by your gun because that's an asset. But I think it would also be raised. It would be more difficult because he was just stabbed and he thinks that you are all trying to hurt him. So I think 2 helps, 1 bonus, and then anything else you can do.
I'm pointing a gun at him, though, so clearly I'm
counting
trying
that
to
as an
hurt
asset.
him. Right, but you are penalizing me for him thinking I'm threatening to hurt him.
By pointing a gun at him is not threatening someone?
Right, but never mind. It's fine. Forget it.
He is
We are,
he is feeling threatened.
yeah,
Right, it just, the logic.
guilty by
didn't track for
association, I
me.
guess.
I have an inability in persuasion that would probably make this more difficult.
Yeah, that probably would. So then that brings it back to difficulty 4 and it's intellect.
Okay. I'm just going to roll it.
Hey.
Look at that. 18. This man, he's unarmed. He's got globs of black spit running down his mouth. And he's done coughing. He looks up after shoving Frieda away and he sees this gun right at him. You see his eyes go wide. And he just grabs his side where he's bleeding. You see the blood starts to run over his hands. And he kind of just backs up. It doesn't take very long before he hits the dirt wall of this chamber. And he just kind of slides down the wall and just holds himself bleeding.
Flavor wise, if you let me just rip off some duct tape and then hand it to him for his wound, that's
you rip off duct tape and you hand it to him, and he'll hold it.
And she'll like,
and he puts the duct tape around his nightgown and just like
totally not what
his
she
nightgown
meant,
down.
but she'll take it.
You invade my home.
This is not your home. This is not your land. We have seen the deeds with which determine who has ownership of this place. You are not that person. Now,
Meaningless pieces of paper.
Paper is not meaningless, and I do not believe you think that. Otherwise, you would not be so concerned with a book, and you would not fill this chamber with books. Paper is very important. Stop with your contradiction and your hypocrite. Be quiet and act like an adult for a moment, please. We have questions, and then we can make sure your wound will not kill you.
Ask your questions and be gone.
What is your name?
Omicron.
What was your name before it was Omicron?
He is dead. Zachariah is dead.
What
How
is
did
this
you-
book that you are so obsessed with?
The Bone Turner's Tale.
And why do you
written
think?
For the flesh. She wants it. But it is mine. It was stolen from me by that Hans Donauer, that thief. He
Yes,
hid it
yes.
from me.
Who is
I
she?
want it back.
Who is she?
Sculptor. The sculptor. She'll mold flesh as easy as a potter with clay.
How do you talk to her?
I would never talk to her. I would. She would kill me as soon as she saw me. But I am very, very spry, and I hide in the shadows, and she does not see me. She does not find me.
You were doing her bidding.
No, I do no one's bidding but my own. I serve no one. I serve no entity, unlike you.
But she wanted the book. So you killed him looking for the book.
I killed no one but myself. She killed Timo. He
Why-
was dumb. He followed me and he should not have. He should not have followed me, and now he is dead. He should have given me the book.
Why do you call yourself Omicron?
Is the identity I have sculpted. It is my flesh I have molded.
So you do serve the sculptor then if you've sculpted yourself, yes?
No, no, no. I do not serve her. She wishes to kill me because of what I know. But if I find the book, she can never kill me. She will never be able to kill me. No one will be able to.
But you are
What?
already dead.
Zachariah is dead. Omicron lives.
What is it?
These many, many years I have lived in this filthy hole, waiting for the book, trying to find it a way in the wards. They cannot keep me out forever. It is in that house. You go, you find the book, you bring me the book, and I will give you everlasting life.
Are you the one responsible for the equation wrapping around the home?
No, you still don't understand.
That is
was
why I'm
Hans,
asking
the
questions.
Thief. The thief was trying to keep me away from the book. He cannot keep
I
me away
see.
forever. The ward will not hold forever, but I will wait forever.
What ward?
Until I can- The equation.
Equation. Why is it that you think that he stole it from you?
Left it for safekeeping, and he took it. He took it. He would not give it back. I am the rightful owner.
You left it with him.
Not leave it with him. I left it with the bookstore. That man who stole it from me. He stole it from the bookstore. He had no right.
You
I
left
just
it.
needed to leave it for a few days so she would not find it.
What bookstore?
Good question. What bookstore have you frequented that you called? What was the name of the bookstore?
Are you asking Lucian
I'm asking
specifically?
Jeff.
I will.
You were the one who
use
tracked
name.
down this book through your the bookstores that you have frequented.
Yes. I will call it Changing Hands. For that is the name of a local bookstore that I approve of.
Changing hands. They were meant to hold it for a few days, and he took it. He stole it, and he hid it in the house, and he made it so I could not enter in return my rightful property.
So you took a book and you left it at Changing Hands because you were worried that she would find it. And then,
She
while
cannot
it
have
was
She
at
cannot have it.
the bookstore, Hans came and took it.
Yes. How long must we go over this? I've told you everything.
So
You say, after you, sister.
you said she wants to kill you because of what you know. Is this that everlasting life that you promised us?
I can mold flesh, not as easily as she, but once I get the book, there will be nothing stopping me.
How did you meet
mold your
her?
flesh. What would you like to? Would you like to be stronger? Would you like to be faster? I can try to make you more intelligent. It shouldn't be so hard from what I've seen.
Perfect the way I am. Thank you very much. But how did you meet this woman?
Oh, I would never meet her. I would. I hide in the shadows. She cannot find me. She will never find me. I suggest that
Do
you do
you
not meet her
want the
either.
book back to protect yourself from her because it used to be yours, or to keep her from having it because it doesn't
Both.
seem like
Why not? I deserve the book. It is mine. It is my rightful property. She does not deserve the book. She wishes to have the book. She wishes to kill me if I have the book. She cannot kill me. I
Yes,
cannot
yes.
enter the house.
We
You
understand.
enter the
Yes.
house. You bring me the
Yes.
book. Bring me the book.
2 questions, perhaps more. First, is she responsible? You need to practice manners. You are asking us to find a book for you. If you cannot display a modicum of decorum, then I will reproduce the equation on the outside of this cave, and you will never leave it, and you will never find the book.
You would never. You wouldn't understand. You can't understand.
The
No, he does,
equation,
and he would.
it was quite pedestrian, I assure you. Now, is she responsible for the cows?
likes to play. Yes. And I suggest you do not let her play with you. The slightest touch will maim you for life. If she touches you and she wants to, she can kill you in an instant. In an instant. All it takes is her to touch you. Just a one finger reaching out, and you will be a cripple. You will be dying. You will liquefy like the boy. He should not have followed me. He should never have followed me. He should have given me the book.
Are you done with your temper tantrum? What was that? You whispered it.
Ask your questions.
What can you tell us about what the book appears like? There are many tomes in that house.
The Bone Turner's Tale. There is no tome like it. Plain black leather cover, no title on the cover. But when you see the text, you will know what book it is. It is a beautiful story, a retelling of the Canterbury Tales and the Bonesmith and his interactions with the pilgrims. Oh, it is a beautiful, beautiful story.
Well, and where does she come from? The water?
No one knows exactly where she comes from. There's a rumor that she she came from here. She came from Germany, and she pledged herself to the flesh. But it was World War II, and the village was overrun. It was overrun again and again, and people were faring quite poorly. But she is not human anymore. No, 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 no. She is not human. She is flesh, and that is all. She will mold your flesh with a single touch.
Or she will mold yours when we point her in the direction of where you have been hiding, like a scared little child.
You would not help her. She would not want your help.
So you
Well,
only
what is
ever
it?
heard her voice, but you don't talk to her. You don't see her, but you know all of her intentions.
Oh, I've studied the flesh as much as she has. But I do not serve the flesh the way she does. I serve myself. If you wish to know more, bring me the book, and I will tell you everything. I will give you whatever your flesh desires. And he just kind of like leans back against this dirt wall.
If you are open to it, I can provide you some medical aid for that wound.
I have my tricks. I have my own tricks. I can sculpt the flesh. Maybe not as good as she, but I can sculpt it nonetheless. And I will not have you touch me. I will not have any of you touch me again. As he looks at Zander.
I won't be
And
touching him
Emily
again.
scratches her head and looks to kind of everyone. Good to exit.
Are there alternative exits? Mr. Omicron.
And you can look around. It's a rather small chamber. It possible that he could like try to hide something under a cot, but that's really the only thing big enough to hide a hole. The walls themselves are just bare earth. There's nothing on the walls. There aren't any Shawshank posters or anything like that. From just a cursory look, it seems pretty honest that there's the one way in, one way out.
Excellent.
Okay, well, I suppose we'll be back. We'll go and look for the book.
Yes, bring me the book. It's in the house. It's in the house. You find it and you bring it to me.
Of course.
Suit yourself. Are we done, everyone?
Yes.
And you leave the chamber?
Slowly.
Single file again? Sorry, go ahead.
Slowly with my gun pointed in his direction to ensure he does not try any funny things.
Lucian, can you bring up the rear as we all exit?
Understand that you are saying this to a person who weighs about 85 pounds. But yes, he will.
And as you all begin to leave, Lucian, you're watching him. He makes no movement whatsoever to get up. He just lays his head back against that dirt and he's breathing heavy. You do still see that there's blood coming out of this nightgown. Like he's pressing down on it, but you can tell he is still bleeding. But he makes no movement whatsoever. As the five of you leave this chamber, you go through this tunnel, stepping over the small pile of rubble that fell on Naveen, climbing up the ladder. You see everything looks exactly the same. And as you leave the shack, you realize that it's about mid-afternoon at this point. Yeah, go ahead, Lucian.
I would like to spray paint around the shack the equation that I studied to keep him
You
here.
absolutely can do that, but I want to tell you it would take about probably a half hour to an hour to do so. Like it'll take some time because it was a long equation.
I see. I will turn to
Not
my
a bad idea,
archivist team.
Lucian.
He seems very unstable. It is possible he could come out here and harm someone.
You're right. He's been in the dark for so long.
Fear we left him there to die. He's bleeding.
I offered medical aid. He
I don't
refused.
think he's alive the same way any of us is alive. I don't think he's going to bleed to death.
I think that is a weird, deranged man in a basement
Yes.
bleeding to death.
I believe
He's
that
more
his
than that?
beliefs about himself extend beyond the reality of himself.
I don't know, something about all of this says I think he's more than just an old, slightly off man.
There is nothing to suggest that he is anything but a deranged old man. However, I agree that there is something peculiar about this place. That man, however, I believe, has just lost his mind. Perhaps his proximity to this book, his obsession with the dawn hours, has created a break in his mind.
Then why are we bothering with the wards?
Because he is a very large man and very violent, and he would have harmed you all, including my sister.
But if you don't think there is anything not real about him, then the words won't do anything.
It
They
is
appear to
psychology.
be very
he
real to
thinks-
him.
If he thinks that he cannot cross them, regardless of whether they have any true supernatural power, they
Still have the intended effect.
psychological power over him.
All right.
Well,
Well, then I don't want to leave an old man to die in a hole. That feels wrong then if that's what we're doing.
We're keeping him there while we continue our investigations. Of course, we will notify medical authorities when the time is right.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not just going to leave an old man to die in the mud.
Okay.
I mean, Zander might do
Yes.
that, but the rest of us, we have hearts.
Why would you think that's...
Because you tried
Lucian,
to stab my sister.
Lucian, you heard a woman's voice.
Frieda?
I've done no such thing.
You brandished the
Zander,
knife.
You have a cake knife in your hand. We did not equip ourselves with a cake knife when we packed for this trip.
As I told Lucian, I found it.
Oh, okay, but Lucian, you heard a woman's voice, so
Yes.
you. While I agree that this man has issues, the area also has issues, and you are not him. You do not have the same issues, and you heard a woman's voice. So he may
Yes.
have been hearing that same voice.
Do we think this location is haunted? And then at this point, Frieda opens up her her briefcase, and one of her equipment pieces that she has is an EMF detector.
Oh, that's right.
And so she'll pull that out, turn it on. So she has that going along with like her camera and her voice recorder.
So you pop that on, and it does seem to be within relatively normal levels.
Yeah. So
Lucian, you started spray painting this equation. I do want a skill check for this. It's going to be an intellect roll, and although you have the equation copied down by Emily and you have read it, you understand it, there is still like an unknown element here that I think essentially you're like trying to cast a ritual. I think difficulty 6 makes sense for this.
Can I offer my friendly help before the roll?
You can write it down perfectly fine without a roll. But if you want it to work in a ritual manner, that's where the skill comes in.
Could I offer my friendly help in this moment or not?
If Lucian's willing to take your help, absolutely.
Okay.
So that would mean it's eased by 1, and you get a reroll if you fail.
I have mathematics, occultism.
Occultism works as well.
Frieda didn't get much from it, but she did grab that book, Nino Makria, which is Greek for ward off, keep away. It's a book about carving the symbols. She'll offer that to Lucian if that would also
I would
help.
allow that as an asset, but if you remember last session, when you were trying to read through it, you had a GM intrusion rolled, and the book ended up being destroyed.
Oh, so we're saying it was totally destroyed?
We said it was damaged beyond repair because of the rain and the weather.
Whoopsies.
Fuck.
If it wasn't a GM intrusion, I absolutely would have let that.
Gotcha.
Okay, what is my current? So I have occultism and mathematics in
Naveen's help.
Naveen.
So that's lowered it to difficulty 3.
And you get a reroll if you fail.
Okay. I will invest even more intellect, even though I have already invested intellect twice on this before. To ease it even further.
You got this.
Well, does equipment ease as well?
Equipment can ease, yeah.
So my spray paint cans then would ease this.
Yeah, sure. You are a pro graffiti artist, essentially. I think that makes sense. That works. Like you're working in your preferred medium.
I would also argue for performance. And before you laugh, understand that performance for me is my art. And this is specifically what I do.
I think you're down to difficulty 1, and I'd rather have the roll.
That seems unfair, but I will do it. It seems as though it is not in the spirit of the game. I rolled a natural 1.
But you have a reroll. You have a reroll from Naveen.
Reroll.
I rolled a 17.
Hell yes.
last session you rolled the GM intrusion and had a reroll by Naveen that, or not last session, 2 sessions ago, that ended up being a very successful roll. So that's happened
Hell
twice now. Good job,
yes.
Naveen.
This
So
friendly help is really getting worked out. Someone should
Teamwork.
roll well. If it's not me, other people should.
with this being a 17, you beat it by so much that we'll say that it's like the minimum amount of time. I said like a half hour to an hour. We'll say it takes about a half hour as you just start spraying down this cottage, and you have to like wrap multiple times around to get this full equation on there. So you're kind of creating like 3 or 4 different layers of this equation that just kind of spirals. Do you do anything with like the artistry of it?
No, since apparently any sort of artistic license I take could perhaps interfere with the occult properties of it. So
I'm
I
pretty sure it
reproduce
gave
it.
you art though.
I reproduce it precisely as I saw it on the house.
All right. Fantastic. So that takes about a half hour. Naveen is helping. Frieda, Emily, Zander. What are the 3 of you doing? You could be taking time to rest if you'd like, which is a way to regain some points. Or you could be doing something else as you've still got plenty of sunlight.
I don't think we would want to go too far to the grave without everyone, right?
Just by the water then. There was track marks there.
Or the house and look for the book.
I don't believe the book is in the house. I believe that Timo looked for it and was unable to find it. I believe the book. Naveen, as you said earlier, it's the grave is probably
Oh, maybe it's in
Where?
the grave, yeah.
what we
Yeah.
are looking for.
We did find a Lutheran Bible that had "Bury me on top of the old hill overlooking the farm with the one thing I must retain." And we
Yes.
believe that's the book.
Yeah. I'll finish up here with this. Maybe you all can do that.
Zander, you wanted to check out the footprints by the river?
Yeah, we'll just rest by the river. Get some points back.
Okay, so the plan is to take a breather and then go all together to the grave then?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone who's resting, you get to roll a d6 and take that many points back. D6 plus 1, actually, I think.
Is this stress or just like
so if you go to combat on your character sheet, you'll see the d6 plus 1, and this is for your pools, like your intellect, your speed, your might, not stress.
got it? Okay.
I got 2.
And because you have a half hour, you could actually do the 1 action and the 10 minutes if you want. You could do both.
Can I refresh a Cypher in this moment?
As you're, I believe it takes an hour of rest to do
Oh,
that.
okay. Never mind then.
So Zander, let me ask you this: as you're resting and as you're by the river, do you do anything with this knife? Is it still in your hand this whole time? Are you putting
Yes.
it away?
It's still in my hand. I'm getting out an energy bar, cutting the wrapper off with the knife. It's still in my hand.
Is the knife still bloody?
Oh, yeah.
I think Lucian and Naveen, you two would be busy writing this equation, but Emily and Frieda, it'd be possible for you to see this if you're paying attention. That's up to you.
I imagine Frieda's probably still sitting up near Lucian and Naveen because she's with her EMF detector, and she's just chilling to see if she can catch anything.
Zander, I understand that you have recently come into possession of this knife, but you are still holding onto it because?
It's quite handy.
Right, but you're eating and it appears to be the opposite of handy and, in fact, taking up space in your hand and limiting your ability to eat your snack.
You think I can eat with one hand? Don't see a problem?
I see that you're struggling with it.
Yeah, perception is off. I am not struggling with the knife.
Can I hold this knife?
I'd rather not.
Let me rephrase. Let me take this knife for a few moments.
Emily, I need an intellect defense roll. It's going to be difficulty 5.
Oh. Oh, goodness. Okay. I'll spend 2 on that.
All right, lowers it down to 4 because you have an edge.
Okay. I don't know that I'm going to have anything else with that. So 16.
16. All right. You also hear a female voice right behind your ear. No, honey, no. He clearly knows how to use that knife. He used it so well. He protected you with that knife. It's better that it stays in his hands. And there's a part of you that wants to just give in to that impulse, wants to believe it, but you pass your save and you have complete control. But you did hear that voice, a very unrecognizable voice.
What do you mean protect me? He attacked that man with little provocation.
I think you're muted there, Steven, if you said something.
Honey, let him have the knife.
Why would you? Who are you?
And with that, there's no response.
Oh, you're right, Emily. Speaking to yourself.
No, I believe our sculptor friend has not only paid Lucian a visit, but decided to pay me a visit as well. You have said before that you did not hear her voice.
There's no such woman.
Is there anything that I can do? Like, I've asked him this question multiple times. Is there anything that I can do to see if Emily believes that response or not?
I think it's safe to say that there's something weird going on. Like, you're one of the newest members here, but you also have gotten to know Zander fairly well. And with that voice, you would definitely be hearing, there's so many red flags about this. So I think you're justified in not believing it.
Zander, I do not understand why, but I believe at this point that you have heard her voice, and the only reason that I can believe that you would be insistent on, and I imagine this has been a very awkward scene with him holding the knife and taking this like protein bar apart. Like, this is obviously awkward. Lucian has heard this voice and I have heard this voice, and there is a goal for her to take the old man out. And she sort of stands up at this point, because Zander is not someone that she can trust at this particular moment in time, and they are the only two right in this area, so she's gonna stand up. Finish your protein bar and rejoin the rest of us by Frieda.
Of course. Let me know when they're done.
And she's just sort of walking as she was doing before. She's sort of like looking forward, looking back, looking forward, looking back.
Fantastic. You are easily able to regroup. You're not that far away, but you were like down a riverbank, so it was a little secluded, but you're able to regroup with no problems. Point of order, Long, I was wrong. You can replenish your ciphers with a 10-minute rest. So those of you who are resting can replenish your ciphers if you wish.
Sweet. I will do that.
But we'll say that the half hour passes fairly uneventfully. It's a warm summer German day. It would be a beautiful day without all these very strange events that are happening. Frieda, your detector's not really going off. It seems to be pretty much normal. Lucian, you get this whole equation painted onto the shack going all the way around. And then you all head towards the grave, a couple kilometers away, back towards the farm.
So just a quick procedural question. So taking a rest, the first rest of the day only takes a few seconds to rest?
Correct. So you can rest multiple times a day, but each time you rest, it takes a little bit longer than the last one. So
Okay,
the first one is just a single action that can happen in combat even.
Okay, so even Lucian and Naveen could do a rest.
Yes.
And get
Lucian
that
and
D6.
Naveen could rest for the one action. They wouldn't be able to do the 10 minutes. Unless they want to take a little bit longer. You guys could wait 40 minutes before you go. Like, that's not a big deal.
If I can have taken that half hour, I would very much like to.
If you want to just have everyone wait a little bit longer after painting. Is that what you're saying? Which is fine. Just another 10 minutes. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Naveen
I think
wasn't
it's
painting. Lucian was
wise
painting. Naveen, I
for-
think, was just there watching me. So she could have been resting in that time.
She was
so-
she
assisting,
not?
though. So I assumed that she was like proactively helping, like if anything with like
Okay.
No?
Well, I think everyone can get a rest. Like, I think that's where I was going. Is
Yeah,
like,
if
before
you're
we
not in a
move on,
rush, then you
everyone
can all
get a rest.
Is what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of where I was going with that. Is like everyone can get a rest and get some
Awesome,
points
thank
back.
you. Thank you.
Right. So everyone can get can roll up to twice, and can also replenish ciphers if they want. And then we're happy to move towards the gravestone.
Yep.
I am.
I think that's the
Yes.
plan.
And Naveen is saying to Lucian Wells, I freaking love watching you paint. It's honestly, it's I was gonna say it's a privilege, but it's a little intimidating. But I love it anyway.
Thank you.
All right. So you begin trekking back towards the farm. You probably don't follow the trail that you originally followed to the shack because you know that a more direct route that'll get you there faster. You could go that same winding path if you'd like, though. It's up to you. Once you get back to the farm, it's still mid-afternoon. By this time, you might have a little bit of a tan from being outside so much today, or a little bit of a sunburn. Probably working up a little bit of sweat from the hike, but it's not too hilly. It's rather flat terrain. The hill by the house is pretty much the only one around for a couple kilometers. And by the time you climb that, you see that there's a sprawling apple tree that provides a little bit of shade. And there is a small stone marker on the ground that I believe Emily, Frieda, and Naveen had already found that simply reads Dawn Hour.
I believe this is where we need to go.
Steven, I'm so sorry. I got 4 back total. Does that take me back down from impaired to heal?
So this is not healing your track at all. This is just replenishing
Okay.
points. It does
Okay.
not take away stress. It
Okay.
does not take away your damage track.
Great, thank you. Just wanted to make sure. Thanks.
No worries. So start digging. You have 1 shovel. So you're probably going to take shifts. Go ahead and describe how you want to go about this.
Emily would start, I suppose. I think this is where we need to go. So I think she'll kind of do the initial kind of breaking ground.
All right. So there's quite a bit of tall grass. So you have to cut through the sod, which the initial breaking ground, like you said, is probably the hardest part of this whole thing. Trying to just cut through those roots till you can get to the dirt underneath. But you're able to get started. In the sun, we do a little montage. We see it slowly start to pan across the sky. We see you taking turns with the shovels here and there. When one of you looks down, we see blisters on your hand forming from digging before or digging so much. And it takes a long time to dig 6 feet down to a grave. So we're gonna say you're well into early evening at this point. As you've been taking turns resting. We'll say no one gets any stress because you are doing shifts like this. But then finally, who wants to be last on the shift? As you hear a thump of the shovel on wood. Emily, you said you were going first. So we'll say that it was back around to you. That you are 6 feet down in this hole, and you slam the shovel down one more time, and you hear thunk of metal on wood.
Oh, thank goodness. Thought this was going to take all night.
And you're able to scrape up a bit more, and you start to pry that wood open, cracking the lid. It takes a good bit of leverage, but there's no real time pressure or anything on this, so you're able to just continue pushing through. And it seems to be a fairly simple coffin. Just a few very plain wooden planks nailed into a perfect rectangle, or a basic rectangle. And when you get that lid off, you see Hans Donauer, presumably, fairly well preserved. It doesn't look like he's been rotting that much. It looks like he could have, like, you're at a wake almost. Like, he's embalmed. You can see that he's dead. You see, like, that waxy flesh, but he hasn't really changed much. It looks as if he could have been buried yesterday.
Well, and so she's 6 feet down, so it's a little bit of a yelling up kind of a situation. He's in remarkably good shape. If he was buried with the thing he cannot part from beneath him, I will need some assistance.
No, hop down the hole.
Okay.
You hop down the hole?
See the book?
He is very intact. I thought that perhaps he would not be so intact, and seeing a book or other object would be easy to do. But if I didn't know any better, I would have thought we just dug this hole to bury him in it. He looks almost freshly deceased. So we need to roll over a entire body.
Zander's going down, is that right?
Yeah,
Zander jumped down. Emily's already down. The two of you start kind of like rifling through. There's a white lining inside of this coffin. It's not anything fancy. It looks almost like a sheet that's been like stapled to the sides just to give it a little bit more decor. And then there's also a very simple white pillow under his head. And as you start moving and rifling through, you find a book underneath that pillow. And as you pull it out, it is a plain black leather cover. It seems to be about like the shape of a Bible, about that size. The pages aren't nearly as thin. They're thicker pages. But as you flip through, you see a few, you see mention of pilgrims. You see mentions of someone called the Bonesmith, and various allusions to the Canterbury Tale, just by a quick cursory look.
This must be it.
Very likely you found.
Yes, Zander does fit the description. And she sort of looks back. Our apologies for the disturbance, Mr. Donauer. And she'll put him back where he was and close the lid.
All right, you close the lid, climb out of the hole. Are you filling in the hole again?
And she sort of looked, we should probably be respectful. Yes, and she's tired, but yes, it is the right thing to do. Okay. And she'll, whatever our rotation had been, she'll kind of look to whoever had been next up to like start this refilling process.
All right. And thankfully, refilling is always easier than digging up in the first place. But we have another montage where the sun is now like fully set at this point. We see the moon coming up, and it's a bright moon, so you still have a good bit of light plus flashlights and stuff like that. Let me ask you, what is your plan? You have this book. What is your next steps?
Are we really returning this book to the man, or are we
Absolutely not. So we are done here.
taking it for evidence?
I had no intention of handing it over to him. That seems unwise. We should study it ourselves, I would imagine, and perhaps try to gain an understanding of what exactly seems to have befallen this area. And she's sort of looking at where off in the distance a bit, sort of where the cows were mangled and deceased. There's still something here, but no one will be living in this particular land at the moment. And she's thinking through, now that someone's deceased, someone could buy this, someone else could move here. This could be concerning. We want to call the authorities.
We're the medical people, right? Like that's what I mean.
Yes.
Okay. Someone leave him.
Do we think there is anything else that we need to do here?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, this book seemed like the main point. We've acquired it.
We verified he died in a horrific way. There was a man on the property who had issues with his father, who seemed to suffer from a mental break. May have possibly murdered these cows, and seems like this case is finished, but this is yours, so it's up to you.
We do seem to have addressed what is in our purview to address. Is there anything else that we wanted to gather? Otherwise, I think we're good.
It is dark now. We should return home.
Later decides that the case is closed. That's all it takes in Magnus. If you decide there's nothing else to pursue, then you're allowed to say that you investigated everything and move on. You don't have to wander too far to get back to the farmhouse. The hill was overlooking it. Your van is still there waiting for you. And you all pile in, filthy, sweaty, tired, and exhausted. Very long day. Naveen, are you driving again?
Yeah.
All right. And it's, again, about a 2-hour drive back, so you still have a long trip home. Who has the Bone Turner's Tale? Would it be Zander or Emily? Or would it be someone else?
Anyone interested in reading this on the drive?
Lucian can take it.
Right. Lucian,
If nobody else wanted.
Go for it.
I have added it to your inventory there. Are you actually reading it on the drive home?
He will have his night vision goggles out. He will be reading in the back.
Fantastic. And someone occasionally has a phone light that just makes it impossible to see anything, and then you have to tell him to angle it the other way.
Lucian will point his pistol at the person holding the phone light. Will say, if you flash that back here one more time, you will not flash it again.
I'll wait to check my messages when we get back home.
Is someone, you have had cellular signal this whole time, is someone calling the authorities?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And just telling them what?
That there was a man who seems to be mentally ill, that seemed to have some type of wound, and refused any assistance.
All right. They respond appropriately. You know, if there's a welfare check, they will absolutely respond to that. I assume you give them like directions to the shack, not to the Donauer farm, right?
Correct. That he, it was making up something that we sort of came across him, and he seemed to go in a shack and disappear underground. But so letting them know that they kind of need to dig a little bit.
All right. So Lucian, you are reading this book in the back. You've got 2 hours to spend with it here, which is plenty of time. It's a thick book, but it's not a difficult read. It has no author attributed to it, and it follows the pilgrims in the Canterbury Tales and their interactions with a newly introduced pilgrim, the Bonesmith. And these interactions almost always turn grisly. You realize as you're reading this that old man, Omicron, Zachariah Easton, whatever you want to call him, he wasn't fully exaggerating. Like with some of the ways that this book is written, you start understanding the physics behind flesh, behind cellular regeneration and division, and essentially the mathematics of life. It gives you this wide open understanding of how things can almost be recalculated and rebalanced in a different way. You take 3 stress upon realizing how much power is in this book. And because you're studying it for at least an hour, if you would like to right now, you can attempt to make a gross physical change to your own physiology, such as making yourself taller, sharpening your fingers, making yourself more attractive, adding a layer of muscle, adding an extra organ, eye, mouth, so on. Is this something you would try to attempt that Lucian would even be thinking about as he's reading this?
Of course.
What would you be trying to do?
I'd be trying to elongate his limbs, starting with his arms. It would make it easier for him to paint, you see, and reach the higher portions of his murals without having to stand atop rickety ladders and garbage cans and other filth.
All right, so let me ask you, from a mechanics perspective, a purely decorative change requires difficulty 2. But if you're trying to do something that would give you like a mechanical advantage, that would be difficulty 4. So if you want to say from a decorative perspective that you're able to reach those things easier, that's fine. Or if you're looking for easing might-based tasks because of that, it would be difficulty 4. And you can go ahead and roll either way.
Lucian would not be doing anything that would be overly observable to anyone else. This is just his first time experimenting with it.
Okay, so you're probably going decorative then.
Yes.
All right, that's intellect difficulty 2.
Am I allowed to ease this with any of my skills?
I think occult would absolutely apply here.
The book is based on Canterbury Tales. Would religion apply?
Canterbury Tales were quite religious. Yeah, go for it. So that makes it routine. So you don't even need to roll here. What does this feel like? What do you look like? You're wearing the night vision goggles in the back here. Are you speaking to yourself as this happens? Do you make any pains as like the bones start growing and shifting? Describe this for us.
Lucian has already experimented here and there with bone. He is when he removes his shirt, you can see that he is filled with all manner of personally created numerical tattoos, but no great artistry. So I imagine in the back, presumably sprawled, he is carving into his arms similar things, except this time he is experimenting somewhat with perhaps the equations, perhaps the literature that he has reviewed in this book. And after writing them on his flesh and engraving them deep into his person, he feels a strange sense of malleability in his forearms. And he grabs his hands together, clasping them, and he begins to pull. And he hears the cracking of bone, the stretching of tendon and flesh. And he does this as quietly as he can, for fear of alarming those in the vehicle.
Everyone else in the vehicle is preoccupied with their own things. Zander possibly looking at a knife, Naveen driving, Emily, Frieda maybe checking your notes, collating everything that you've been over through the day. And in the back, we just pan backwards. We see Lucian with his shirt off, like essentially in like the trunk storage area, lying down, and we hear just muffled groans and just very quiet pop and crack and pop and crack. And that's where we'll go ahead and end for the night with that image. As Lucian, when you finally get back, you see that Lucian's pants they are a little bit higher than they used to be. You see a bit more ankle than you used to. How inappropriate for the Victorian era. All right. Let's do some shout outs, guys. My Trey, what do you got going on?
Oh, I am Mighty Plays Games on YouTube, where I make system agnostic or multi-system development content that centers the GM and player experience.
Awesome. As for myself, I made a tabletop RPG called Huckleberry. It's a Weird West game. If you like action games, if you like horror, think Hellboy and Tombstone. It's a lot of fun. Go to huckleberryrpg.com. Yep, Ashley's repping with the shirt there. I think Jeff is too. He's got the book anyways. We will be doing a backer kit soon. So if you would like to see physical copies of Huckleberry, go to the website. Links are there, and you can sign up for notifications. It is greatly appreciated. Jeff, what do we got going on with Lollygaggers?
Next stream is tomorrow. We got some Call of Cthulhu. You can see the same crew here playing through that. Steven and I just switched seats. Monday, we're starting up our new game, which is our session 0 earlier this week of Time Watch, which is a gumshoe game, except this one's about time travel. And so you can see myself, Melissa, my Trey, and a bunch of other folks from Monday as we're gonna take that on. Tuesday, we're off for a couple weeks as we just finished up Perils and Princesses earlier this week. So we're going to take a little break. Kipster's going to put something else together. And then we're going to dive into a new game later in May. And then next Thursday, we should have some more Swords of the Serpentine because I'm sort of like obsessed with Gumshoe right now. I know it's like an older system, but shut up. So yeah, there's that. Okay.
It's fun.
I think it's awesome. It's awesome. So it's really great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what we got. Let's see. We good for raid? We ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Yippee.
All right. Let's do Trooper SJP. They're playing Traveler, and I'm always constantly flirting with the idea of running Traveler and then talking myself out of running Traveler. So let's just go watch them run Traveler instead. So that's it for us. We'll see y'all later. Auf Wiedersehen.
Cheers.